Guys, welcome to TNA Throwback, and as you can see, it's time to book the final pay-per-view of the year. It's time for Final Resolution. It's December 5th, and in my opinion, this pay-per-view is the definition of transitional pay-per-view. Most of the lower card is pretty mediocre, except the main event. I'm always honest about it, so I believe we had a lot of success with the last pay-per-view, which was Turning Point, and Bound for Glory, I believe, was good, but this pay-per-view is pretty mediocre, let's say. But sometimes we need these kind of pay-per-views to build up to more interesting moments. So let's start booking the show. Of course, I am keeping the old format of booking the show live as far as the pay-per-view goes, because the pay-per-view is only matches. There's not really a lot of storylines involved. So let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 9 matches on the show. So we should start with we should put a match on the pre-show, and actually I'm gonna put the tag team. Yeah. Since you know that in this game, as far as pay-per-view goes, you can only book 8 real matches on the card and 1 pre-show match. But after you book the show, you have 2 free extra slots because of the Hex editor, so you can include 2 more matches. So the maximum amount of matches you can put on a pay-per-view in this game is 11, but this show is only 9, so we can fit them in as far as the booking sheet goes. So we are gonna kick off the show with a tag team match. Matt Morgan and Tamko are gonna face Douglas Williams and Magnus. This match is pretty self-explanatory. These 2 tag teams, or let's say a stable and a tag team, have been feuding for the past few weeks. It all started with a random tag team match, and they were. I believe Morgan and Tamko were facing British Invasion, and the British Invasion just attacked them after the match. This is just something for these guys to do, so they will continue their feud here. The finish is gonna come when Rob Terry interferes and helps Douglas Williams get the pin on Tamko. So the real show is gonna kick off with the so-called Feast or Fire match, which I'm gonna use a 10-man battle royal here, since we don't have an 8-man battle royal, and I believe the original format was 8 guys battling for 4 briefcases. So we are gonna put all the guys that have already won the qualifying matches. I believe these are the guys that won qualifying matches without Amazing Red. Zack Ryder, yes, Scott Steiner. And we're gonna put a little bit of, like, let's say Christian York. Let's say someone else who's not on the show. Low Key. One more guy. Suicide. There was really no point for me to do more qualifying matches. So the winner here, of course, there's no winner. So let me explain how this works. The whole format is not can't be done in the game, because the format is that 8 guys are competing for 4 briefcases that are on a pole. So we got 4 winners. The 4 winners here are gonna be Scott Steiner, Crimson, who is debuting here, as we run a lot of vignettes in the past few episodes for him debuting in the match, Robbie E is gonna take the third briefcase, and Zack Ryder is gonna take the fourth briefcase. So these guys are gonna take the briefcases, and on the Impact post pay-per-view, we are gonna reveal which one gets the world title shot, the tag team title shot, the X title shot, and which one is fired. So it's Steiner, Crimson, Robbie, and Zack Ryder. But of course we can't really do it here, so we're just gonna have Steiner win a Battle Royal. Then we can continue with the show. It's time for the Knockouts title match. Angelina Love takes on Gail Kim, who has freshly turned heel. They already competed for the title on the last pay-per-view and Angelina defeated her. But of course Gail turned, and right now Gail will win by cheating and she'll become the new Knockouts champion. And this is how we start her title reign. I believe Angelina has been a champion for quite some time, so we need some sort of a change in the card, as far as, you know, this can be said. The next thing on the show is gonna be a #1 contendership for the tag team titles. Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. I'm sorry, but someone is just using a fucking motorcycle on the outside and I can't really stop him. So this match was, I guess, announced or booked by the Pope. Beer Money has been in shambles ever since they joined, ever since World Congregation has been formed. It was the absorption of the Jarrett's former stable, World Elite, and the Congregation, which is the Pope's stable. And Beer Money have been some kind of outcasts because Dinero first chose Abyss and Gunner over them to fight for the tag team titles, which is gonna happen in a while. And then we had the Beer Money pretty much being disappointing and losing the matches. So here they got a chance for redemption, as the Pope booked them in a #1 contendership match. Or not booked, but let's say he just announced that they will have a chance to redeem themselves, but they didn't. They'll lose here again. So the new #1 contenders for the tag team titles is the newly formed team of Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. So Beer Money remains in the doghouse. The next match is gonna be the blow-off between Joe and Kazarian. Joe is gonna win clean because Joe has got to have his revenge. Kazarian won the last match, but actually I have other plans for Kazarian. So this is gonna be the blow-off to their quick short feud after Kazarian dropped the X title to Aries. The next match is gonna be for the X Division title. It's gonna be Austin Aries taking on Eric Young. You know how this went. Eric Young attacked Austin Aries. Eric Young has a new stable. It's called Team Fight Club, and he's teaming up with Homicide and Hernandez. So after the match, Austin will retain, and after this we're gonna have Hernandez attack Aries. So Aries is gonna retain the X Division title, but he's gonna get attacked and beaten down by the EY's new faction, which consists of Homicide and Hernandez for now. The next match on the show is gonna be for the global title. Jay Lethal takes on Devon. So I'm gonna do a title change here. Devon will win the global title. Why? Because Jay Lethal doesn't need the title. this is the thing with Jay Leto. Jay Leto was a nobody in the beginning of the game. I believe I used him to put over the original World Elite, which was consisting of Bashir, Williams, and one other guy. This was like at the beginning of the game. This was in March or April. Then Leto actually disappeared from TV before returning, and he had a great feud with Styles. He aligned himself with Flair. So Leto kinda really got up in the car, and I believe that the global title is just setting him down the card for some reason. I want to turn Leto into something bigger and to have a more important role. So the global title, the whole point of Leto winning the global title was to have this good feud he had with Robbie E, who was the previous global champion. And Leto winning the title was kind of a feel-good moment. I didn't really plan on having a lengthy feud with Leto as the global champion. And Devon actually needs the title because he is supposed to be the right hand of the Pope, who is the world champion. So we need to have credibility in this group. We need to have the heels. This is actually a huge heavy show, if you can see. Styles and Daniels are also gonna drop the titles to Abyss and Gunner. The whole point of these title drops is to switch some of the titles to the newly formed heel faction, so they will gain some credibility and we can get some new storylines over. I don't see the point of having Styles and Daniels with the tag team titles, since they had great matches with the Machine Guns and they were heels for the most part of the year, but right now my plan is to turn them baby faces. So they're slowly transitioning here with their last to Abyss and Gunner, and Abyss and Gunner are the new tag team champions. So I have already told you guys that this is not gonna be the most interesting show, but this show is needed as far as advancing some of the storylines and some of the ideas I have leading up to the beginning of next year. This is actually the important takeaway here. The purpose is to turn Bischoff. Yeah. So this show is really a bunch of fewer stuff. We got 2 title changes, but the most important thing is the main event. The build-up for the main event was pretty big for the past few weeks. We got Dinero complaining and Anderson complaining, and actually Brian Hebner being exposed to bribery. It was determined that he was bribed by Dinero. So the main event is supposed to be a cage match with a special guest enforcer, which Bischoff appointed himself to be. And I have told you guys many times that Bischoff, as far as it's actually funny because the tag match got 85% in rating, but actually the titles lost image because Abyss and Gunner became the new champions. So that's great. We got 90% in main event, so 82 for the show. Not really a bad rating. So just let me finish my thought. So the whole plan here was to book a cage match with Bischoff as the guest referee in order to ensure that the rules will be enforced. There will be a fair match. Since Bischoff has been acting like a tweener, but he's been a dick to the heels and he's been a dick to the babyface. So he appointed himself as an enforcer here. And actually, the most obvious thing will happen, and he will actually turn on Anderson. He will align himself with Dinero, and he's going to become the new heel authority figure for the world congregation, since we need all the leverage we can get on the heel side. So once we do the comeback story, we can we can do a proper comeback story. So you can't have a heel group without some sort of credibility. So right now, Dinero is the world champion. We got a heel authority figure representative in Bischoff, and we got the global title as far as Devon, and we got the tag team titles on Abyss and Gunner. So the only champion that is not a part of this faction is Austin Aries, and I don't really want to touch the X Division as far as this. I want to keep the X Division as far as possible from this storyline. We need to have variety on the show. We can't put everything under the same umbrella. So this pretty much was a transitional show. The big takeaway was the fact that Bischoff turned and he's right now a heel. So we're gonna see what happens on Impact, what's gonna be the official explanation. So this was a pay-per-view. We're gonna see each other in the next episode. We got 5 more Impacts from now on till the Genesis pay-per-view, which is on January 9th. So this is for now.